Hey everybody, this is Gilmore, agency transformation coach and founder of Niche in Control, creator of Leverage for Growth.
And I'm Lucas James, founder of Twiz.io, which scaled from $0 to $200,000 a month with my own agency.
We are the hosts of Leverage for Growth podcast agency leverage episodes. We know that in order to scale your agency successfully, there are multiple shifts that need to happen within the founder's mindsets, skill sets, and leadership styles. We are on a mission to interview marketing and PR agency owners on their journey to 6, 7, and 8 figures and leverage the lessons from their journey to save you time, energy, and money in order for you to get your agency to the next level. If you find value in these episodes, watch the case study video to learn more about Leverage for Growth and how we successfully scale agencies quickly at nicheincontrol.com/case study. That's nicheincontrol.com/case study. You are now listening to Leverage for Growth. Hey everybody, this is Jesse P. Gilmore, founder of Niche in Control and creator of Leverage for Growth. Welcome to the Agency Leverage Edition. Today I am here with Jacob Wagner, the founder of the 4FP Agency, a growth marketing agency dedicated to building healthy growth systems, client attraction systems, and referral marketing funnels for financial planners. Thanks for coming to our show today.
So glad to be here. Great to be with you, Jesse.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about the history and background of your agency?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's definitely taken some different forms over the years as well. So I started the company in 2013, but that was being more of like a tech advisor to people. And in 2017, it really seemed that like, oh, this advice that I'm doing, no, this is really easier to talk about as digital marketing. And that was a great way for us to host and offer our services for a long time. And then also it's what we've ended up finding was the best way to really apply what it is that we know and what we're best at isn't necessarily to be like making a funnel for somebody or making a website for somebody. All those things are very important and you need to have them. But also, since our clients are financial planners, one of our mottos is, you're a planner. What's your marketing plan? And being able to have that set out, have, your budgets, understand what you want expect your results to be, all those different things. And if you just go in and just without any thought, set up a funnel, spend thousands of dollars to drive people to you, maybe it'll have a result. And maybe also that result could be that you attract a whole bunch of people who are not who you want to work with. And so having a good strategy, understanding how you want to speak to your ideal client and what they want to hear at each stage of the journey is really one of where we focus and help our clients.
That's awesome. And what made you decide on financial planners as kind of like the focus or the niche?
Well, for that, I have a situation that's probably not going to apply to most listeners. I am second generation into the financial planning profession. And so really how I actually found marketing was that I wanted marketing to be, I wanted to be of as much service to the financial planning firms as absolutely possible. And I want people to get the financial advice that they need. And the marketers or the financial planners tend not to be the best at marketing. And so basically, I want to go and I want to help people with this problem of dealing with the finances in their lives as much as possible. And it felt like the best way to do that was to support the same way that I support my father, some of his friends, things I've done throughout my career, from after leaving college and frankly before, how to actually help them build their firms and understand what it was that they really wanted to get out of their firm.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And being a second generation financial planner, you've obviously have like a passion for, who you serve. And I could hear that based around what you were just describing.
Yeah, I do. Well, and the thing is that there's some good guys in the financial planning world and there's some bad guys in the financial planning world. And unfortunately, the bad guys are the ones you see on TV and they have an immensely bigger budget than the small companies. So, but through the thing is that through the nature of digital advertising, that a smaller business has been given a lot of opportunity that they hadn't before. John Hancock can go and buy the back of the baseball stadium so that, when that home run happens, you get a brand imprint as it goes over the fence. But the thing is that with good advertising, using the algorithms of Facebook and Google in effective ways, you can get in front of the people who you'd really be best to work with. And so that's a big part of it, is knowing what to do to get in front of those people, and then also the right thing to say. A lot of our clients, that the people they want to find is someone who has $1 million to $10 million. It's the same as that like beautiful woman who gets hit on everywhere that they go. If you use a hard sales approach, it's going to be really alienating and it's not going to work. What you need to do is you need to come from a perspective of when someone realizes that they have a problem, and that they're starting to look for that, and you starting to provide the solutions to those problems through your lead magnets, through your social content, through everything that you put out on media, and in the content, your ads, and providing that answer. And one of the reasons why it's really good to go into the niche is that it allows you to speak more specifically to the needs, the wants, the concerns. Because the thing is that every business has their own growth needs, but some of them, like as you start to niche down, that you start to be able to go towards certain types of problems that your clients have time and time again. And that gives you that specificity. That gives you that ability to really be like, okay, now this is the sort of, when they come in, a lot of my clients, that they say that their main way of marketing is to do referral marketing. And there's a place that's really powerful, and there's a place where that also means that you didn't actually start to try. And so even when it comes to referral marketing, a lot of the times those guys don't even have anything that makes sense. And you want to have some way that you actually are romancing those people, stuff like that all suggest everything from, there's a cute local business here in Portland called PDX Cookies, or Cookie PDX. And these cookies are a meal. They're like, if you're watching the video, they're like this thick and like huge, that my fiance and I, we split one of those cookies twice. And if you can go and you can put a good flavor in the mouth of your prospect, that's a good taste in their mouth, literally. You're starting to create some of those incentives. And, if you're going to be getting thousands, tens of thousands of dollars from a client, that going and spending $40 to send half a dozen cookies to them is really a good way to just like keep that relationship growing, and also it's not, you didn't give them something to recycle, to collect dust on a corner, any of those sorts of things. What you did is give them something that maybe it goes to their kids, doesn't matter, maybe they give it away, but at least you gave something that makes the relationship richer. And so that's really, rather than just like, oh, hey, do you have another friend who has $5 million? And do they have, and they're having these concerns and problems, like it's a way to actually put a better taste in their mouth and make it so that they're not feeling like they're being put in some sort of product context, that they're not being oversold to, because when a financial planning relationship is done right, they have the best lifetime value of a client relationship of really anything I've seen. In a good financial planning relationship, it could be 30 years of lifetime value. It could be that when someone goes to the hospital, these are stories I've all heard from clients and from colleagues in the financial planning industry, that financial planner was the first non-family member to get called to come to the hospital. And some of it was about the like legal stuff and having the papers right, because all of that is immensely confusing, especially if you're in an emergency situation, but it's for the emotional part, that when you do marketing right, when you do, your service delivery right, that you're developing friendships with these people, that it's rich, that, you cry with them when they have the sad things in their life, that you're there to celebrate the wins with them. And that type of a relationship is so much deeper than just like building a funnel for somebody, and understanding what your return on ad spend is, which all those things are essential. But if you can do that and have a deep relationship, that's going to give you so much more that happens with your clients. And, it doesn't have to be too much. It just needs to be what's going on with their lives, knowing where their kids are in the process of everything, like, oh, there's the dog coming in, or, the dogs love to interrupt your Zoom meetings, so at least having a way to turn that into a fun joke or something like that. And same with any like 3-year-olds that want to come onto the screen for, 30 seconds. Just how do you deal with that gracefully and still stay on topic with work too, and have that really be something that enriches the relationship and not something that distracts.
Mm-hmm. And what I'm getting from this is you talk about like client attraction, and there was one thing that I learned in my journey. It was the difference between like the desperation of selling and then the patience of seduction, and being able to do that effectively. Is that something that if you were to either go back to a previous version of yourself or tell the audience kind of something to leverage, would that be something that you would kind of pass on to them or?
Absolutely. Well, yeah. I mean, if you are in that, if you sound desperate when you're on the phone, then basically they're not going to like it. The conversation isn't going to be resonant. It's not going to jive. And, there's a lot of different ways to do sales conversations and sales strategies. And just if you bring that in, you're probably not winning. And if you, use some of those overt sales and closing strategies, it'll work, but you can also be bringing in people who you don't want to be working with. And so, a part of what both we do with our financial planning clients and what the financial planners are doing with their clients is it's a bit like dating, and that you want to make sure that they're a good fit for you. And the thing is as you start to go deeper into the niche, then you can be that greater fit. Just for an interesting example, this is not one of our clients, but there's a person who they only work with trophy winning bass fishermen. That's the only client that they have, the only type of client that they have. And they have over $1 billion under management. That's a big, big number. And they don't need to go anywhere else, but they do get to go and have that bass, contest be a business expense. And then they can go there, be with these people, do the stuff that they also frankly like to do. And that authenticity shows up every step of the way. And, since they're there and, when someone comes into a sudden money situation, all of a sudden you get that $1 million of prize money or whatever. How do you use it? How do you leverage it? How do you have it last you for the rest of your life? That might be half the money you earn in the next 10 years or in your life or something like that. And how do you avoid taxes? How do you spread that out? How do you have that really last you as much as possible? Because it's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Conversely, another one, if someone's an NFL lineman, they might be, I'm not a sports guy, but I'm not talking about, Tom Brady or someone who can't retire, but that guy who gets beat up for 3 years, and maybe earns some, 900,000 for that entire time. But how is he? He has all these managers, all these different things that are pulling away at that money. And he needs that money when he's 80. How are you going to actually manage that and make that work? And those needs, that's really what made me establish this firm and made it so that I want to help people in this way and help financial planners get the marketing help that they need, because everybody who's listening to this podcast is going to want to retire. And if you plan right, then you're going to be able to. You don't want to be that old guy working at McDonald's unless you want to be that old guy working at McDonald's or Walmart or whatever. If you want to be able to pick the life that you want to have for yourself. And that's really the end result that I want for my clients and for their clients.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I love the passion, both from a marketing perspective, but also the financial planning perspective. Mm-hmm. So what are you working on right now? What are you excited for? What's success for you in the next 1 to 3 years?
Yeah, well, I am working on a new program right now that is taking what we have been doing as a one-on-one piece. That's a 3-month accelerator, and actually not taking all of it, but really taking the first part of it, slowing it down a little bit, because it's an immense amount of work when we do this with people, and making it so that when someone comes through our process, not only do they have identified who their ideal client is, the transformation that they provide, they also actually have a system using numbers to measure what's working well and isn't, and a path to know how they're going to get to you. But not just that, adding in the system, the technology. That's one of the things that's out there. And that there's various pros and cons to all of these softwares, but having the right thing to support you is a big deal. So actually giving people the software, setting up the software, and then coaching them through the process at the same time. And that's going to probably be an 8 to 10 week course. And I'm really excited for it. I don't have a name yet, but it's looking at the different transformations that they provide, and also how to have a true client acquisition system, so that it's not this one and done, maybe this one thing works for a little while and then it doesn't or whatever, but actually having a system that when something starts to not work as well, you can tell from the numbers. Then you use us, we go in and we fix that part of the system when we don't work on what's already working. That's something I see that happens a lot, is that people try to make something that is working better and didn't notice the thing that was the actual weak link in the chain, that's where people are actually falling off in the process. So that's the next thing that we're working on. And that really relates to our bigger consulting process. Like when our favorite clients are working with us, they go through this first system, and then we're also working with them at least on like the CMO level every quarter, that we're doing 4 to 8 hours of work with them. And then if they need these other pieces built, we have the PPC, we have the SEO team, and you don't even pay anything until you're on the first page of Google with that. We have the web resources, all those things. So that way we can make those decisions when it's the right choice. When it's the right time to develop that for a firm, then we can go and start to push that out. But that way we're helping people be on that long-term roadmap for success. It's not just this framework and then you're off into the wilds again without any support. Because I think that it's really important to have that advisor and that guide, especially if you are an advisor. It's like the psychotherapist needs their own psychotherapist kind of a thing. You can't, some of this stuff, you just need someone else to do the same thing to you that you do for your people.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. So what's the best way for people to get in touch with you, or do you have any offers for them that they could take advantage of?
Yeah, absolutely. So the easiest way to find us is to go to 4fp.co, not 4fp.com. That one wasn't available. 3-letter domain names are rare these days. So the number 4, F is financial, P is in planning.co. And then when folks come to the site, I encourage them to download our digital marketing essential guide for financial planners. And it is good for other people if you're not a financial planner, but it has what you want on your website, what to look for in your email marketing, the basic pieces to go there, directions and links to set up your Google business and your Facebook business, so that way you can have those basics done. And I want all of those pieces done, ideally, before someone even comes and starts the conversation with me, because it just makes it so we start off running, hit the ground running.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. And I'll leave the URL in the show notes for anybody that's listening. And I just want to thank you very much for being on the show today.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Jesse. And thank you, everybody who's listening to this. I hope that you've learned something, and maybe a thing or two.
Agency owners, if you want to transform your agency to sustain and grow without your direct involvement, where you can stop working in the business and switch to working on the business, where you can regain control of your time, delegate effectively, get paid what you're worth, and have your team run the day-to-day, go to nicheincontrol.com/case study right now to learn more about Leverage for Growth. You can book a free strategy session with us to look at your systems, understand what needs to be done in order for you to scale, and get a free strategic plan for the next year to live the life of entrepreneurship that you've always dreamed about. Go to nicheincontrol.com/case study. That is nicheincontrol.com/case study now.